Well, I think, anytime you have to talk about, agencies, it's a dangerous and painful thing. Sometimes you find, great partners and all of that, but I think it comes when there's a lot of alignment between what you're looking for, obviously, and what the agency can provide. And what I'm hoping today is that these top 7 things that you're asking will help you find that alignment to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. And CRO is something I actually think almost everybody should have some form of an agency for. And when I talk about the different types of things that you can get from an agency, I think you'll understand why. I think the primary reason anybody wants to look for an agency in CRO is, we work on our business every single day, and we see the world through our eyes, right? Through our cursive knowledge about our own business. And so having someone from the outside being able to come back there and either give you recommendations or help implement, we'll talk about all the different pieces they can do for you, could give you, big improvements over the long term. So I think everybody should have some focus on that. Now, what I've prepared here in these 7 things, realize come from, my 15 plus years of having an agency with my brother. We no longer have that traditional agency. So we don't really have a conflict of interest around agency. I do have a lot of friends in here in this space, and some of them might be upset with the way I approach this, but I think it's fair towards the customer. I think that's ultimately what matters. And that brings me actually to, point number 1, which is, what is their process? Too often, a lot of the companies, their process are based on their own heuristics, based on what they view the world as what's important to test, what's important to change. And not that there's anything wrong with that. And I think there's a great approach to being able to take an expert opinion and, telling them, here's a few things that you should do, here's a few things you should change. But if that's the primary method of operation, whether it's in a review, whether it's an ongoing testing plan, I've got some real issues with that, because fundamentally, the experts know, and sometimes better than most, but again, they don't know 100% of the time. They also don't necessarily know everything about your business. They don't necessarily know everything about your customer. When we ran our agencies, one of the things that we did, and we told clients, it's that, it takes several months to kind of get everything ramped up. But in the first month, we were going to give them some heuristic recommendations so that they can get started right away on a few things. But we were going to start going through a very intense process to understand who their customer was, right? Deep inside the shell of understanding their customers, not in their business. We didn't want to understand their business. We didn't want to know anything about their worldview, because that's not important in CRO. We got to understand the customers. And so, are they going into the call centers? Are they looking at reviews? Are they, running user tests? What is the process that they're doing to go ahead and understand your customers? And like I said, there's lots of different techniques that they can do. But if they're not focused in specifically on your customer, over the long term, you're going to suffer. Secondly, are they tool agnostic? I often find that a lot of the agencies have been built out as service parts of the tool they developed. And unfortunately, if the common saying goes, if all you have is a hammer, the world, everything looks like, a nail. And it's sort of the same thing in CRO. Everybody approaches trying to change things in the way their tool goes. And I'll give you an example of this, right? If you own a large multivariate testing tool, oftentimes you'll find that the way they want to approach fixing everything is running these large-scale multivariate tests. Well, that's not always necessary. Sometimes you can just do a very quick and dirty little test, prove it out, go ahead and launch. And so I definitely prefer agencies that have, a lot of experience with a lot of different tools. They don't care about any particular tool, whether you're doing it in-house. They definitely have some expertise on some tools, but they have a broad set of tools in their toolbox that they really know how to work with, depending on what the situation is. And I think that's the critical part, right? Don't settle on someone who's stuck with just one type of tool. That's going to help you make sure that the agency is geared to understanding what it is that you need from the agency, right? What exactly are you looking for? And there are different types of ways to approach buying the services of a conversion rate optimization agency. Again, do you need somebody who's just going to give you recommendations, right? Are they going to come in there once a month, once a week, once every quarter, once every 6 months, every year, and just provide you, hey, we've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. Can you tell us, take a look at what you're doing, and maybe give us some new recommendations on something that we never thought of beforehand? Because again, we're in our business every day. That's a great approach. Are you building out maybe a larger team? You want to extend conversion past just the one or two people who might have that in their title, but to everybody in the organization. Are they providing ongoing training and mentoring? Again, that's an important aspect to this. And again, not every agency is capable of just understanding those team dynamics and understanding the what goes into building a culture of testing and optimization. Do you need somebody to do all the heavy lifting, right? Do you need somebody literally say, hey, we have great ideas, but we don't know how to code them. We don't know how to we don't have the resources to design them. We just need somebody to go and implement the test and let us know who the winner is. That's also one option, right? Those are more like your mechanics. You just want to be able to find them. And then, you may want someone who's really more full service, right? They can take care of every aspect of the presentation, of everything from, analyzing the customers and giving you insights into them, looking at your analytics, right? The heuristic stuff, the qualitative stuff, as well as the quantitative. They can design stuff for you. They can code stuff for you. They can implement it. And of course, they can then test it. And so when you start putting that all together, again, that's a lot of extra value. But again, it totally depends on the need of your organization, on what your corporate metabolism will actually swallow. This one, I know my brother would have a great laugh at, because I remember very early on in our early days, we get people who called us up and asked us, if we've ever worked in their industry. And mind you, testing really is about understanding people, right? It's understanding the customer, who the customer is. But obviously, if you have some insights into working with, let's say a B2B situation versus, direct to e-commerce things, there are different nuances there that you certainly want to have. So someone who has some understanding of that target market, even if they haven't worked specifically in your business, is probably something good, right? Someone who understands complex sales versus the simple dynamics, let's say, of retail, right? Very, very different than that. And so my brother used to tell people, said, we've worked with everything from people who sell literally pig sperm for fertilization, and fertilization type stuff, all the way to people who, create gamma knives to operate on tumors inside your brain, and just about everything in between. Everything has different levels of complexity. You just want to make sure that the people you're working with have some level of background to it. Again, whether it's a small agency or a large agency, they don't have to work directly with any of your competitors, but they have to have familiarity with the type of landscape your business fits into. The next one is you want to make sure how they actually deliver their work. You want to see sample deliverables. You want to see samples of how their recommendations come in. Are they very high level? Do they give you very specifics with screenshots, with pointing out things, with example codes, with do they hand you something where they code it all together, let you approve it? You want to see exactly the format that they deliver. And you want to talk to their customers about how they deliver and the speed of delivery and that kind of thing. That's going to be a very important part of there. One of the things I've learned over the many years of evaluating other people's work, unfortunately, that we've been put in that position, is that we see a lot of very cookie cutter work, right? People delivering personas, and their stock personas, they basically deliver to almost every single client and just change a couple of words here and there. And it's really, really sad. And I often tell people, if their sales process feels very cookie cutter as opposed to customized, right? In other words, it doesn't have to be completely tailored and everything measured to fit, but tuned up based on your dimensions. You're probably going to get the same kind of delivery, right? You're not going to have somebody who's going to be giving you, their best quality work, and it's usually because there's some, junior level people doing the work, and not necessarily people that you would want as someone hiring an agency to really help you do this. You want to make sure that everything has some real insights into it, some real people thinking about it, some real people customizing it to your needs. Now, if an agency has been doing a good job at not delivering everything cookie cutter and really producing great results, there is evidence of their success. There'll always be a lot of evidence of their success. And I think this is one area that a lot of people really don't spend enough time doing. They'll go ahead and they don't really spend enough time talking to many of their former clients, both once we're active and once we're no longer active. I think that's a very critical part to understand why, what was the best things we're working about, and what were the toughest things we're working about them. Because some of those things may not bother you that are tough for others, but you need to understand it, right? Because everyone has a different type and approach in how they need to do this. They may have chosen the wrong agency for what they're looking for. But also, look in third parties, look in people's reviews, look in where they're speaking, what people are saying about them. Are they giving them high praise for delivering new insights? Are they producing content that's really unique and insightful? They're just not regurgitating what everybody else is doing. And the better agencies are definitely producing stuff that a lot of people are not necessarily focused on. So look for their references, go out there, investigate it, make sure you spend a lot of time focusing on getting the right agency that has the credentials that you're looking for. The better the agency is not necessarily, the one that with the big brand name is not necessarily the one who's truly insightful and bringing you a lot of great success. So definitely pay attention to that. The last main point that I really want to focus on is contract types. And again, right, contracts could be somewhat cookie cutter, but they should have some flexibility. A couple of things I want you to keep in mind. Number one, CRO takes time. Anybody who's going to guarantee you success, anybody who's just going to limit the amount of time to this is going to be some serious issues for you. You basically want to make sure that any agency you're going to hire, you're going to give them at least 90 days, if not longer, just to really get the time to understand who that customer is, to go through all the analytics, to do all the processing, to run some user tests. You need them to have that expertise on your customers that it takes to do this, to go into the call centers. Not everything makes it very easy to schedule all these things. And so it's going to take time to really ramp up and get success. But you want to make sure a few things in the contract are really critical. Number one, how quickly you can get out of the contract. Very specifically, what do the deliverables look like? What's the structure of signing up for additional months or additional years, depending on what the terms are going to be. And so, if you spend enough time making sure that the contract tells you and is very specific on, again, these 7 questions, you really can do a great job at picking the right agency. Again, just find the agency that can meet your type. Is it recommendations? Is it full service? Is it just a heavy lifting? Is it just a training, right? Maybe you just need one of those. Maybe you have 1 or 2 people on your team and they just need a little bit of mentoring, a little bit outside perspective. Great. Make sure to get them that type of service. Make sure, again, nobody's tied into any particular tools. I usually find that the service vendors from the contracts that you buy most often are not necessarily the greatest. Sometimes they're okay, and they may be enough when you first start out. But again, look at all of these different 7 issues, and when you match them up, hopefully you'll find the perfect partner for you to help keep getting you lifts months after month after month after month. Thank you very much.